Then let's talk about some of those stocks that we just discussed in the past segment, in our top 10 segment. To help us out with some fundamental analysis, Dipan Mehta of Elixir Equities joins us on the show. Good morning, Dipan, and always good to see you in. I wanted to ask you about Tata Elixir. That's been a big outperformer. Valuation-wise, it's not cheap at all. It's trading at close to around 7,000 rupees. But the numbers, there were some encouraging signs. The core business, which is that core vertical, the transportation vertical, grew by more than 5% on a sequential basis. And adjusted margins actually did see a bit of an expansion. What's your view on the stock?
Yeah, Nigel, good morning and thank you for having me on your show. So first of all, a disclosure, Tata Elixir is one of our core holdings and it's not been an outperformer. Last 3 years, it has actually underperformed and dragged our overall returns down. But nonetheless, I think the results were pretty decent. And more than the results, I thought the management commentary was very positive. And I haven't seen this kind of positivity in quite some while. They are looking at the future with a great deal of expectation, new projects expected to go on stream, and the healthcare, which was a bit of a drag on the performance for last 2-3 quarters. There also they expect that things should start to reverse from this quarter onwards. And the guidance that the margins will gradually move up, I think is very positive. But the thing is that the stock is very richly valued. It's amongst the highest in terms of price to earnings multiple within its peer group. So I would say that upsides may be limited because of higher valuation, but at least the numbers have come through much better than what I've seen last 2-3 quarters. So I would say that like us, we are remaining invested, but I wouldn't advocate fresh buying.
Just talking about Tata Elixir's underperformance versus peers, in the last 3 years, Tata Elixir is up about 60-65%, while its peer KPIT Tech is up close to about 580-85%. So that's the extent of underperformance.
Yeah, that's right, Rima. Recent underperformance, 5 years though, the stock is up about 700%.
Yeah.
so recently it's underperformed last 1 year or so. But
3 years now.
Yeah,
3 years now,
otherwise, if you look at it a little longer, it depends on from when you're looking at it.
All right, Dipan, a quick word on M&M. That was the stock of the day, down close to about 7-odd%. I was reading an Investec note where the management's saying that they're in the process of launching a mid-cycle refresh for their product. And therefore, this, the move that, we've seen from them, the cut in prices, it explains because the management wants to clear the inventory to make space for the newer models, the refreshed models. Is this something that the street will accept? Because the management has also come out and clarified that it's not linked to the UP hybrid tax, what we've seen. How do you expect, the stock to behave from here on after yesterday's fall?
See, Rima, first a disclosure. So we are invested in the company. And one angle that you are forgetting over here is the monsoon and the impetus which the government will give to the agriculture and rural sector. And which means that its second largest division, the farm equipment tractor division, should do exceptionally well or hopefully much better than last 2-3 years as the monsoon progresses. And that could be an earnings driver as well. Do keep in mind that the tractor division has higher operating profit margins than the automobile division per se. So marginal increases in tractor sales can immediately result in higher profits for M&M. And over there also, the premiumization trend is shaping up really well, where higher HP tractors and tractors with more features and higher profit margins, therefore, are in higher demand. So on the whole, I'm not bearish on M&M at all. I think it's going to be amongst the best performing auto stocks. And these are just minor aberrations. Look at the latest offering in terms of the EV, which they have got on the XUV 400. And I've done a test drive of XUV 400. It is a fantastic car and really the best in class and value for money over there. So I think M&M has really captured the imagination of the consumers. And I don't think there's an issue in terms of slowdown or any kind of growth issues in M&M. Very positive on the stock, but as I said, we are invested, so our views could be biased to that extent.
Dipan, I wanted your view on Sula. I know it's only Thursday, but they came out with their quarterly update, which looked a little bit subdued, but that was because of elections, a lot of dry days. The penetration, as the management always says, is immense, the potential. How would you view the stock at these levels?
Yeah, Nigel, it's only Thursday, but nonetheless, party always can start early. I'm really disappointed. But I'm really disappointed with Sula. I mean, whenever you go to any function or party, there are so many people drinking wine and they have such a nice repertoire of wines. And yet, you have 2% type of volume growth. I just don't understand. It's not just this quarter. You go back 2-3 quarters or since the listing, their volume growth is never in that, double-digit growth rate only. I don't understand it that, it's India's largest wine company. It's a brand. It's been around for decades. We all know about it. The wine consumption in the country is increasing gradually, maybe rapidly in some situation, in some states. And yet, the growth rates just do not come through. So I'm really perplexed as to why the growth rates do not come through. And now look at, on the other hand, I was looking at GM Breweries, which makes country liquor. And you check out the numbers of that company, that's phenomenal. I mean, they've done exceptionally well in the June quarter. And smaller alcohol companies, be it Radico Khaitan, Tilak Nagar Industries, Global Spirits, they've done so well as compared to, say, Sula or United Spirits or United Breweries. So that leads me to the conclusion that you need to go with more aggressive managements in the alcobev space. And the companies which I named just now, of course, we may have investment position in them. I think those will give better returns in the alcobev segment. And when you really looking at the FMCG side, and if you can classify these companies as FMCG, I think the company like Tilak Nagar, Globus, GM Breweries, Radico, I think offer a better potential.
Point taken. Dipan, just a quick word on the life insurance companies. Is there any upside here, and what do you like in that space?
Prashant, you've asked me before, and I like the space a lot. It's a good defensive space. And the top pick, again, usual disclosure, has to be LIC. I'm very impressed with the numbers which they came out in terms of revenue growth rates and insurance premium growth rates. And it's a big investor, one of the largest investors in the stock market. And the way the markets have zoomed up, I'm sure it's going to have a very, very positive effect on its enterprise value when they declare it for the June quarter. And it's still trading at or below around its enterprise value, whereas other private sector insurance companies are trading at anywhere from 3 to 4 times or so. So it's the same case like PSU banks versus private sector banks, and how the gap has narrowed between them. Something similar will, the valuation gap, something similar will happen in the insurance space as well.
By the way, Dipan, did you hear that conversation with Gulf Oil on data centers?
Yeah, I know, Prashant, you're pursuing that investment theme after having spoken to Castrol. And really, I'm with you because I'm also trying to find stocks which benefit from this data center explosion, which I call it, which is going to take place. But very difficult to find anything in India right now. We looked at Rashi Peripherals, which, does all this hardware for a lot of data centers. But that also, I think it's more of a trading company, and they really don't have any edge when it comes to setting up data centers. So just wait and watch for a listing when it comes through. Anantraj, of course, is one company which is very active in setting up data centers. That's the only investment theme. That's the only play which I can find when you want to write this particular micro investment theme.
Now, my aim, to be honest, Dipan, also was to kind of, because it's so much narrative in the market, right? This has happened, that will happen, and you just sort of attach something to something, and then stocks fly. So, so my idea was also to get them and sort of ask them, really, what is the size of the market? Is it really that big? And of course, as you heard, the answer from their perspective, the data center opportunity is large, but for lubricant companies, is the opportunity large? The answer, I think, is emphatically no right now, because, there is all of that happening. But take your point on some of the other companies.
If I may say, you have your entire team has a great responsibility in terms of bringing out the right news and quelling all these kind of, rumors and expectations. So doing a great job. Thank you.
I'll tell you what, Dipan, we'll be delving a little bit more into this subject a little later in the show at around 9:35, 9:45 or, in that range. So please tune in. Hopefully we can get further details and, try to address this opportunity such that our viewers get a fair idea of what's going on that front. But thanks a lot, Dipan, for joining in. Wishing you a good day ahead.